All right. Hello to the one person who's watching. I can't see exactly who it is, but I can see the chat. So feel free to just say hello, and I will know who's here. I'll just start in the chat. Okay, I will let you know that there's about a 15 to 30-second delay. So just if you ever say anything that I'm not hearing, there's just a little bit of a delay. So if you ask me a question, it'll be about 15 seconds behind. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming onto the YouTube. I'm glad that I was able to get it all sorted out. So thank you guys for coming. I'm going to give it about 5 minutes. So just feel free to chill, just to let people come in. Oh, my hair's doing this weird thing today. All right. All right. Hello to the next person who just came in. Feel free to say hi in the chat just so I know who's here, if you can see the chat. All right. Just a couple more minutes to let people come on in. Okay. Hi, April. It says I had to sign in. Okay. No problem. No problem at all. I'm so glad to have you here. It's nice to have friendly faces. I didn't realize how much I got nervous for public speaking until this week because I haven't done it in a while. And it's good. It's good practice. But yeah, it's been a hot minute. So I'm really glad to have some friendly faces here. Thanks, guys. All right, tell me in the chat, did anyone have to shovel their driveway today? Because I shoveled my driveway today and that snow was so heavy. Oh my gosh. Like, I swear I did like a full workout just shoveling. Hey, Siobhan, thank you so much. So glad to have you here. All right, people are coming in now. Perfect. Glad I got it all set up today. Better, much less stressful. All right, well, I'm going to get started, and I'm sure people will kind of trickle in over the next couple minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to make my screen a little bit different. Perfect. All right. And I'm going to pull up my notes. Excellent. Okay, Siobhan says, my husband killed it and let me stay inside. Oh, that is pretty nice of him. That Edwin has a broken hand, so I couldn't tell him to do it. I had to do it. And April says, in a hotel in Sault Ste. Marie. So I may be in and out depending on internet. No problem at all. Really glad to have you here regardless. And it is recorded, so we're all good. Okay, so getting started here. Just gonna open up my screen. All right, so today we are going to be going over how to stop failing and kind of why we fail in general. So it's kind of a big topic, a little bit of a heavier topic, and I'm going to get into a little bit of the psychology of why people fail. But I think this lesson is really good, and I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it if you haven't heard this lesson before, and if you have, a good refresher. Okay, so just going over what we're doing this week. All of our topics are here. So yesterday we went over the biggest lie in fitness. Today, how to stop failing. Tomorrow, picking out our goal body and setting goals. On Thursday, it's going to be the first steps to massive success. And on Friday, how to lose 20 pounds. Woo woo. Okay. I will remind you that there is a winner at the end of the week who will win a 12-week coaching program with me. So if you want to be that person who wins it, show up to the lives, okay? Have an accountability partner, do your workouts, and please comment in the Facebook group where you can. pump up the other girls who are in there, post about what you think of the lessons, and just be active in there, because it's always more fun to be in a group where people are talking and communicating more. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so today we are talking about why we fail and how to stop. Because we all fail. We have all failed at one point or another. Of course, we're human. And I think that we all wish that we could stop failing. Because not failing saves us money, it saves us time, and it saves us sanity, right? If we're always failing all the time, that's just not a fun way to live, and it costs a lot of money and a lot of time. So if we can stop failing, really, then we've unlocked the key to success. So the first thing I want to go over is that your brain is not designed for fitness. It is not designed to lose weight. It's not designed to make you motivated. Above anything else in the world, your brain is designed to keep you safe. Okay? As an evolutionary process, your brain is designed to make you hold fat, to make you rest more often, and to keep you safe from danger. Okay? Which is really, really annoying in fitness. Thank you, brain, for keeping me safe, but really annoying. So your brain really wants you to keep the same routine and to keep it all the time exactly the same, so it can predict what's coming next, okay? Your brain wants you to be rested, well-fed, and avoid sickness. It also looks for and confirms things that you already believe in, so that it avoids making new mental pathways, because it is so lazy, okay? So when you challenge your brain to think differently or experience discomfort, it will always resist. Okay? This is an evolutionary development, like I said before, to help you survive. And it has nothing at all to do with you being lazy or you being stupid. It's just a normal brain function. And I think a lot of times as women, we feel a lot of shame when we are being lazy or when we're having resistance to getting fit, right? When we're not feeling motivated and excited to get fit, we often think something's wrong with us. Nothing is wrong with us. So tell me in the chat, have you ever felt your brain resist hard work or fitness related things? And did you think something was wrong with you? Did you think that you were being lazy? I know there's a bit of a delay, so feel free to jump in the chat whenever. Because I definitely know my brain has resisted hard work before. All right. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever heard the term get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that term really talks about this, right? Our brain wants to be comfortable, and to get it to a place where it is comfortable being in discomfort is really kind of how we move forward and how we really achieve things, right? Is feeling comfortable in that discomfort. Okay. So, understanding the failure and isolating the behavior is step one in getting through failure. Okay. We want to distinguish the way our brain is making us fail and isolate that behavior. From there, we learn to work with our strengths and challenge our weaker areas, right? So what I'm going to be doing today is talking about different failure personas. So my time working with women over the last couple of years, I'm super weird and I track everything. Okay. Everything that people do, I write it down. I make spreadsheets so that I can be a better coach and help people get to their goals in a more productive way. So one thing that I was doing is anytime someone didn't reach their goal or was falling short of their goal, I was writing down why and that experience for them. And I started creating different columns that I was seeing patterns in. And I created these personas of failure because I was able to group every single client into one of these sections at least. Okay. It's the most common reasons that people in my practice were failing. So as we're going through this, it is possible to be more than one or a combination of a few. So allow yourself to identify with whoever feels right, and it may be more than one, and that's totally, totally okay. April says, of course, all the time, to feeling like failure happens and then feeling like, why is this happening to me? So thank you, April, for sharing. I really appreciate that. Amazing. So I'm going to dive into the different personas. These are the personas that I've created. Okay, so we've got Negative Nancy, Diet Detention Diane, Marathon Mary, Deborah the Drifter, and Avery the Avoider. Try to give them fun names, but some of them are a little bit of more intense topics, so that's okay. Okay. So what I really want you to do is, if you have a paper and pen with you, I want you to write down these names, and I want you to write down a 1, 2, and 3 next to them. And as we go through this exercise, if you really feel like, hey, this is me, I want you to circle the 3. If you're like, this is totally not me, circle the 1. And if you're like, nah, I can kind of see myself in here, circle the 2. And then at the end of the lesson, you're going to be able to kind of see who you are and what steps you need to take specifically to manage your type of failure. Okay. Okay, let's go for it. All right. So failure persona number 1 that I'll talk about is Negative Nancy. So we're going to start out with a little bit of a deeper one, and then some of the ones after will get lighter. So don't think that they'll all be as doom and gloom as this. Okay, so Nancy really, really struggles with dieting. She sees it as a very painful period of intense restriction. She goes to like a dark place of dieting where she wants to look really good for an event where she feels really ashamed of her body. Nancy does not feel comfortable in her skin. She avoids mirrors and she hates the way she looks in photos. She feels very trapped in her body and very envious of those around her. Nancy constantly is comparing herself to others. Even when she's around friends and family, she cannot help but focus how she looks in comparison to everyone else around her. Negative Nancy believes that if she hates herself hard enough, it will make her go for a run or skip a meal, and she believes that the shame fuels her forward. Okay? Nancy will often turn to quick fixes and fad diets because she wants results now, immediately, because she doesn't feel good about the situation that she's currently in. She will do whatever it takes to see results as fast as possible, even if that means doing something really painful or harmful or really expensive. Okay? So I think that all of us have been in a situation in our lives where we have felt that. We're like, I want results right this moment, and I would literally do anything to do that. And so I think all of us can empathize with this feeling. But Nancy, like Negative Nancy that I'm talking about, this is kind of like her only lane. Like, she only diets this way, and she really doesn't diet any other way. So one thing I'll say about Nancy is that usually this type of woman has struggled with past trauma or abusive relationships or is struggling with mental health issues. Not always, but usually this type of negative self-talk comes from a deep root of pain in the past. Okay. So she's developed this negative self-talk. She doesn't believe success is possible for her without going to an extreme. She doesn't really respect her body or love her body. She kind of punishes her body for how bad she looks. Okay. So if you are Negative Nancy, or if you are like, hey, yeah, like, okay, this is me, or I've done these behaviors before, the first step to success for this type of failure persona is learning and utilizing neutral thoughts. I don't ever recommend that Negative Nancy tries to smother on positive thoughts, because her brain's going to know right away, like, this is bullshit. This is not for me. So I need Negative Nancy to really work on that neutral thought. Like, this is a human body. This is just a meal. Like, not these big, extreme good or bad behaviors, taking away the morality from Negative Nancy. And this will allow her some peace and some relief from the mental chaos that usually comes when she starts a fitness journey. Okay. All right. I'm going to move on, but I want you to write if this is 1, 2, or 3 for you. Again, 3 being this is totally me, 1 being this is not me at all, and 2, you can kind of see yourself here. Okay, so persona number 2 is Diet Detention Diane. And I see Diet Detention Diane a lot in my clients. This happens all the time. So Diet Detention Diane is really, really hardcore. Okay, when she's on a diet, she is 110% in. She's either on a 3-day fast or she's treating herself to a 1/4 teaspoon of ranch dressing for raw broccoli salad. Okay, carbs are not in her vocabulary. There's not one speck of bread entering her mouth. She is focused. Okay. The problem is that it takes a lot of energy to go at dieting with that kind of intensity. And you can't stay focused like that for very long at all. Okay. So generally what happens with Diet Detention Diane is she has one bad day. Okay. She has a rough day at work. She's stressed. Something happens and she's too tired for that intensity. So she eats something that she didn't have in her intense plan. And then she feels like she has ruined everything. She's like, I've fallen off the wagon. I have completely messed up my diet. She's wallowing in so much anger and shame for herself and loses that momentum that she had and just stops because she's like, this is the worst, right? She hates dieting. She feels like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I messed up. And then what happens is she'll probably take a couple weeks, if not months, off of dieting until she feels ready to jump into that intensity again. Okay. So the problem is, unless you're a robot, you cannot eat raw broccoli salad and chicken breast 24 hours a day. Like you can't do that, right? Like there needs to be some room for like a normal experience of life. So I find that people who go that hard, they can only really go 24 to 72 hours without making that first mess up. And it's usually a very intense 24 to 72 hours for these people. And usually they do 1 or 2 rebounds. So it's like, oh, I messed up. They have a couple days where they're like, oh, I feel terrible. They go back into it. They mess up again. And then they're like, I quit. Okay. So the first step to success for Diet Detention Diane is learning and living in moderation, of course, right? So a couple tips that I would give this person is to really schedule in your off-track meals, scheduling in your rest and downtime. So practicing that 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the time I am focused and doing like this really, really intense thing, but 20% of the time I'm not doing that intense thing. I'm giving myself a break. Okay. So scheduling in an off-track meal, like actually writing it into a calendar. Like on Friday, I'm going to have an off-track meal and it's going to be steak and potatoes. Okay. Or scheduling in that rest. Like, okay, on Saturdays, I'm not going to do any fitness. All right. Moving on to the next one. The next one is called Marathon Mary. And this one I feel like I am most connected to. Marathon Mary is like a perfectionist, but also like an overwhelmed perfectionist. Okay. Marathon Mary is always ready to take on something huge because that feeling of taking on something huge makes her feel like she's accomplishing something. But these massive goals, even though they're keeping her focused and she's like, yes, I want to do this. I can't wait to do this. She doesn't have enough time and she doesn't have the structures surrounding her to be able to complete this properly. Okay. She's full of tasks. She's full of activities and she's overwhelmed. No matter what she does to try and get organized, she's like, I cannot do all of these things. So often people like Mary sign up and start doing something big like a marathon. And that's why I called her Marathon Mary, taking on this huge thing. So usually people like this do their research, they find the best training program, they map out their runs, they create their schedule, they buy top of the line gear, go on the diet, and they plan to show up every single day. But where Marathon Mary often gets really stuck is she plans to do things in an intense way. So for example, she's like, okay, I'm going to run a marathon and I'm going to set my alarm for 6 a.m. and go out for a run every single morning for the whole week. But because she's so busy and she's so exhausted, by the time she's done 2 or 3 days, she's burnt out already, right? She can't keep up this humongous intensity that she set out for herself. So what usually happens is she'll rest just one day, and then the tiredness sets in and she just feels like she's failing and panics, and she doesn't want to go back to it because she can't do it to the level that she wants to do it. She can't just run 5K, 3 days a week. She wants to run that marathon. And so it's really this struggle of all or nothing and finding that balance where she could have a couple 5K runs a week, but she's not willing to do that. She wants the full experience. So, my message to any Marathon Marys out there is you can do anything, but not everything. Sorry, I'm just seeing some messages. Okay, Ursula's here. Thank you so much for coming, Ursula. Sorry about the YouTube thing. We're going to be here the rest of the week. So now that you've got it for all of the days. Okay, so Mary has really incredible intentions. She believes in her ability to perform. She wants desperately to do it all and to do it all right now. But she doesn't have the organization, the time management, or she's just taken on too much and it's not possible. Okay. So to truly be able to take on all the things she wants to do, she's overwhelmed and burnt out. So the first step to success with a Marathon Mary is first choosing the things that matter the most to her. She's a yes person. She's saying yes all over in all different places. She needs to start saying no and only saying yes to things that she really wants to give 100% to. Because you can't give 100% to 8 things. You just can't, right? Even though you want to. So another thing that Marathon Mary can do is being more organized and using like day planners and calendars to really give herself like a sense of relief from all of the craziness that's going on in her life. And also planning things in an easy way. So instead of saying, I'm going to work out at 6 a.m. every morning, how about you work out on your lunch break? Or how about work out after work when it's not such an intense thing to wake up so early to get out there, right? Don't make it harder just to make it harder. Okay. All right. So Deborah the Drifter is persona number 4. This isn't my most normal client. Usually my clients are more on the intense side, but Deborah the Drifter, I see a lot all over, and I have had clients like this before. So Deborah the Drifter doesn't have constraint, okay? She doesn't have a solid reason as to why she's even getting fit in the first place, okay? Deborah's chill. She doesn't get too caught up in dieting, but always starts out pretty strong. She'll be on track for a week or so. She eats her salads at lunch. She packs a snack for her drives. But one weekend, her friends come over and they have a card night. They get drunk, they order pizza, and she just remembers how delicious her old way of eating is. She isn't necessarily throwing in the towel, but she's broken the seal to her old habits that she really enjoys, and she slowly starts incorporating them back into her life. Sometimes Deborah doesn't even know when she fell off track. She just looks back and realizes, I'm not actually eating healthy anymore. Like, when did I all of a sudden start getting Subway every day for lunch, right? So Deborah struggles with staying committed to things. She doesn't have a big goal she's working towards, so she can't seem to find the motivation and discipline to stick to something just to look hot or just to look fit. She doesn't really care about that. She's pretty comfortable in her body, but she thinks, yeah, I should probably get fit. Okay. I don't know. I don't think any of you guys here are Deborah, but I'm sure you've all met a friend who's like that, who talks about getting fit, but just never really sticks to it or really cares all that much. Okay, so the first step to success for Deborah is setting smart goals that really give her a reason that is specific that she's trying to achieve. I would never recommend it to be a weight loss goal, but instead something more exciting for Deborah. like run a 5K or get ready for a photo shoot or do a Tough Mudder. Something where she wants to do it because she, again, doesn't really care that much about being fit or looking hot or whatever, right? She's just there for a healthy lifestyle. Another thing that Deborah can do is build up constraint. And if you've never heard me talk about constraint, I will explain it pretty simply, quickly here. So constraint is not allowing yourself to do a fun thing in the place of something that you've chosen to do. Okay, so for example, if I said to myself, after work today, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour. I am not, instead of going to the gym, going to go home, order, takeout and watch Netflix. I'm not going to replace that hour that I set out for the gym with this fun thing instead. If I've made a decision to go to the gym for that hour and I don't want to do it, I'm not going to replace it with fun. So instead, maybe I will go to the gym parking lot and sit outside of there and do nothing for that hour because I chose that hour to go to the gym. So at least I'm going to go. Or I'm going to go to the gym and I'm just going to sit on the elliptical or sit on the bike and just be there because I've chosen to be there for that hour. I'm not going to play on my phone or read a book. I'm going to use that time that I set out for something uncomfortable. This is not like a self-punishment. This is not something where you're angry at yourself. So don't confuse it in a really negative way. It's not a negative thing. It's honoring what you've pre-chosen. I've pre-chosen for an hour after work to go to the gym. I'm not going to skip it and do something fun instead. And when we use more constraint in our life, if we just go to the gym, your brain is going to learn to resist less. But when you replace it with something fun, you're teaching your brain that resistance creates a reward. All right. We really want to break that, especially if you're this type of failure. Okay. So again, at the end of all these personas, I want you to circle 1, 2, or 3. 3 is this really, really you, circle it. If this is not you at all, circle the 1. And if you can kind of see yourself here, circle the 2. All right. Okay. Let's talk about Avery the avoider. All right. So obviously tendency is to avoid. Avery wants to do big things, but can never seem to get herself started. Avery's favorite saying is, I'm starting on Monday, or, after this week, I'll do that. After I'm done my course, I'll do that. Once I'm finished grad school, I'll do that, right? It's after something, then I'll do that. So Avery often is the kind of person who will cook meal prep, then get distracted by more delicious options in her fridge. She gets annoyed with herself for letting the chicken and broccoli go to waste, but she just can't resist the delicious food. Avery has the 2-liter water jug. She has a Fitbit. She's got the running shoes, but she can never seem to get herself to drive to the gym like she says she will. She just can't seem to get it started, to get that momentum going. So for Avery, the first steps to success are small micro goals with time limits. Okay. So for example, so it's easy wins. Okay. So today I'm going to commit to drinking 1 liter of water before dinner time. Okay. And having that time limit is really important with this type of failure persona. Because if you're just like, oh, I should drink more water, and then you just like bring a water jug around with you, this Avery the avoider isn't going to drink it. Okay. You need to commit to an amount and a time. And it needs to be a micro goal, a goal that you for sure can accomplish, something that is easy. For example, another one that's really good is vitamins every day. Water, vitamins, these are easy wins for this type of failure persona. Another thing to do is like 20-minute workout videos on your lunch break. Or after you shower in the morning, you put on your workout clothes right away. You're going to eat breakfast every morning. Again, small wins. And for this type of person, those small wins are going to build up their confidence that they can do it and they will stick to it. All right. So I want you again to write 1, 2, and 3. If this is really you, 3. This really isn't you, number 1. Okay. So I want you to now look at all your numbers. Okay, we've gone through the failure personas. So it's normal to see yourself a bit everywhere and a bit nowhere. Some people, though, will really, really see themselves in one section. So I kind of want you to like tally it up and see, like, do I have a clear winner? Which failure persona is most like me? So you don't have to share who you are, but I do want to ask, like, did this surprise you? Did you know this was you? Have you ever thought of yourself in this way before? Was this totally new for you? I'll give you guys a second just because I know there's a bit of a lag here. I'm talking what? All right, I'm going to keep going just because I feel like the leg is bigger than normal, but that's okay. So another question that you guys can kind of think about is, did this give you more clarity on the first steps to breaking free from this behavior pattern? So someone here put definitely more than one. Yeah, I know. All of us have a little bit of all of them in it. I think we can all see ourselves really in all of them, but usually there's one or two clear standout threes where you're like, oh yeah, that's me. That's me 100%. All right. So hopefully that this did give you a little bit of clarity. I'm going to keep going with our presentation. If more people comment, I'll break for that. Okay. So the mindset lesson I'm going to give you guys today is motivation versus discipline. And I talk about this all the time. This is probably like one of my very, very favorite lessons to teach people. Because so many people fail because they think they need to feel motivated. And motivation is this massive lie that everyone is talking about. It's this buzzword. Okay. So the trick to getting your brain to do what you want is to master discipline. So to define the two, motivation is the excitement that you feel when you're starting something new that's really challenging, right? Oh, I'm going to start playing piano, or oh, I'm going to start painting. Oh, I'm going to start a fitness journey. And you get this boost of excitement for it. And you're like, I can't wait to do the hard work that it takes to get to this new, fun, huge goal of mine. Okay. The crazy thing about motivation is it doesn't last long. Usually it doesn't last more than 24 to 72 hours. Okay. Motivation will maybe get you up at 6 a.m. on the first morning, but it's not going to continue to get you up 4 weeks after. All right. Discipline, by definition, is facing a hard thing and doing it anyway. All right. You're having a resistance to this hard thing, and you're like, you know what? No, I'm going to do this anyway. And the amazing thing about discipline is it is a practice that you get better at in all these little parts of your life, and it compounds to make massive results. Okay. So first step to developing discipline is to find little tiny places that you can practice it. Discipline isn't this grand action. Discipline isn't running a marathon. Discipline is sorting out your vitamins every morning. Discipline is making your lunch the night before instead of the morning of. Discipline is setting out your clothes. Discipline is brushing your teeth and then flossing. And so if you want to be better at sticking to something for the long term, you need to practice discipline everywhere. And again, it's not huge actions. It's not. It's making sure that you have a couple extra hair ties in your gym bag. It's making sure that you have socks for tomorrow. So your homework tonight, I want you to write this down on your paper, is I want you to brainstorm 5 places in your life right now, easy things you can practice discipline in. So again, for example, flossing your teeth. getting your clothes out the night before, prepping your lunch. Okay, so whatever yours is, I want you to think about your life and I want you to write down 5 things that you can start practicing right away. All right. Okay, let's keep going. So as I said in the beginning of this, I write down every reason that people fail. And I've made a master list of all of the reasons that people most commonly fail. All right, one second. I've got a comment here. So April says, I'm a mix. I see times in my life when I have been one and then another. Definitely. So we absolutely can change over time our failure personas. I definitely wasn't always a Marathon Mary. I was maybe a more of a negative Nancy at the beginning of my journey. So you will see that too. As you grow and as you change, your failure persona will change. All right. Okay. So I've written down the most common reasons people fail at fitness that I've seen with my own eyes. Okay. The number one reason is going all in level 100 and not being able to handle messing up. Okay. It's having humongous goals and having really solid intentions, but panicking the second you make a mistake. All right. The second most common reason I see people fail is having unrealistic expectations of success. And I don't even want to get started on keto because I will go for 1,000 million years about it. But the problem with the keto culture is that people see these huge reductions in their weight, even though it's just water. Let me say it again. When you see 40 pounds lost, you didn't lose 40 pounds of body fat. You lost water. Whatever. We're moving on. But people have these humongous expectations of what their body should do. That they should just be able to instantly be good at dieting and instantly go to the gym every day and instantly see 10 pounds a week come off. Okay. You would never sit down at a piano to learn piano for the first time and expect yourself to play Mozart. You wouldn't, because that's crazy. You have to respect the steps, learn the skills, and get better at it over time. Fitness is exactly the same. People do not realize that it is a skill to be good at fitness, that you must learn. You can't just jump and be amazing. You can't just all of a sudden be a professional. You must learn the steps. You must refine your skills to be good at fitness. And also, always, always, always remember that 2 pounds of fat loss per week is really the maximum you should ever lose. Because if you ever lose more than that, your skin elasticity cannot keep up and you will forever have sagging skin on your body. All right. So remember, if you always want to be aiming for 1 to 2 pounds of fat loss per week and not more than that. All right. That more than that is really hard on your hormones. It's really hard on your organs. It's really hard on your body. And I would never, ever recommend to aim for more than 2 pounds of loss per week. Another reason people fail often is you're changing things too dramatically. Your brain can't manage the resistance to how dramatically you're changing your life. So if all of a sudden you're going from takeout every night to like full vegan, your brain is going to freak out. Or if you've never ever worked out before and then all of a sudden you're trying to work out twice a day, like it's too much. It's too dramatic. Okay. Another reason people are failing is they aren't planning or preparing enough. Planning is huge in fitness, all right? Having things prepared and planned takes away so much resistance and so much discomfort. Like if you come home from work after a long day and you have a dinner already pre-made, ready for you to eat, you're going to eat the healthy meal that you've pre-made. But if you don't have anything pre-prepared, it's so much easier to call up a takeout order because you're hungry and you're tired and you're stressed. And the last thing you want to do is do something challenging when you get home from a stressful day. All right, last thing I have here is that you don't actually want to get fit and you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So I'm a huge advocate for living in a healthy body and being, in a good state with your body and your mind. But I don't think actually that every single person needs to be a fitness junkie. Like everyone doesn't need to be at the gym every day and eat all this, crazy protein and salads. I think that if you want to get fit and you are excited to get fit and getting fit makes you feel good, that's amazing. Like you should definitely do that. Again, I'll say everyone should eat a healthy, diet and everyone should move their body. But getting fit, like you have to want to do it. And it can't be fueled from self-hate and shame, because self-hate will never make you work hard. It won't get you up at 6 a.m. for a hard workout. It won't. It'll make you want to hide. All right. Okay. So I want you to write this down for me so that you have this in your book so that you can see this. So I want you to write down the last time you attempted fitness, why do you think you failed? Now that you've been through this, now that we've, gone through the different types of failures, I want you to write down, why did you fail your last attempt? And then I want you to ask yourself, like, am I ready to break that cycle and start actually achieving goals? Like, am I ready to change my behavior in a way where I don't keep cycling through that same behavior over and over again? And then the last thing I really want you to write down is, what is the first step that you need to take to break out of that failure cycle? Now that we've gone through all the first steps, what do you need to do? What is your first step to break free from that cycle? I'm going to give you guys a minute to write that down, and I'm just going to drink some water here. And I'll just kind of go through mine, what I'm thinking for myself, because every coach needs to do this for themselves as well. So why I failed my last attempt at fitness. So my last bodybuilding prep, I actually had to stop a couple weeks out, and it was really devastating for me. And I tried so hard. I tried too hard, probably. I was working out 3 hours a day, and I was eating, perfectly on my diet and all this stuff. And I wasn't sleeping enough. And because I wasn't sleeping enough and because I was overtraining, my body would not lose weight. And so I failed because I didn't allow myself rest, and I had too much going on. I had too much on my plate. And so for me to break out of that cycle, I really need to start prioritizing what things am I giving 100% to, and what things can I let go? What things can I say no to? And my first step would definitely be to add in more rest, to take away some of the things from my schedule that don't need to be there, and allow myself, to say it's okay to not do everything. You can do less things better. Don't do everything badly. Do less things better. So that was just my personal share of how I fail and how I'm going to do it differently going forward, because I did set a new bodybuilding date, and I'm really excited to come at it from a different angle and really live in a little bit more peace and unity with myself. All right, I'm going to keep moving. So our conclusion for today is that failure looks different for all of us, but there are key behavior patterns that many of us fall into. And I don't know if it surprised you. I hope that it gave you a better understanding of how failure happens, so that you can really understand, this is why I fail. This is the pattern that I've been doing. And you can isolate it so that you can change it, so that you can do something differently going forward. All right. So that is all for today. I do have another amazing lesson for you tomorrow at 7:00. I hope to see you all here again on YouTube. I'm glad you guys all could come here. All right, let's see. Siobhan says, I love that some of the solutions we have already started and they have already helped. Thank you for sharing. Woohoo! Yes. Okay, I also want to give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions. So if anyone has any questions about fitness, about nutrition, about anything, I'm happy to take any of them in this chat if you'd like me to answer. And again, you can email them, you can DM them, anything you want, and I will answer them on our lives here for you. So I'll just give you guys a second because I know there's a lag again. But thank you guys for coming today. Man, oh man, I'm so glad it all worked out better today. Yesterday was such a struggle. It was the highest level of struggle for me. It was a rough one. All right. I'll just give it one more minute and then I will sign us out for tonight. I know tonight was a little bit longer. I think tonight was the longest of all of them. So I'm really thankful for you guys to all have been here and watched through the whole thing. So thank you so much. All right, ladies, I'm going to end the live now and I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. I hope you have a lovely night. Bye, everyone. Just going to write it in the chat here too.